So going back to the 1980s, recognise you need better observations that feed into weather and climate models to improve our weather forecast, but also to improve climate predictions as well. It was recognised you need better instruments, and then that evolved into the Along Track Scanning Radiometer, which was an instrument collaboration between RAL, the Met Office, MSSL, University of Oxford, to measure sea surface temperatures to unprecedented accuracy that are needed for climate research. So this instrument was designed and built here at RAL. That was launched on ERS-1 satellite, which is Europe's first remote sensing satellite. That was followed by ATSR-2 on ERS-2. That's when I got involved 35 years ago. And then followed by the Advanced Along Track Scanning Radiometer. And those instruments combined, that provided a 20-year data set. And RAL were involved with the instrument design, the data processing algorithms, the calibration algorithms, the pre-launch calibration, and then also the post-launch calibration. So we were involved at all levels of that instrument design and development. It's important to measure surface temperature, and particularly sea surface temperature, because the sea surface temperature is an indication of the global ocean heat content, which is an indication of how the Earth's climate is changing. The Sentinel-3 mission is an operational mission, whereas the others were primarily research missions, and we need to provide operational sea surface temperatures. So that came into the Sea and Land Surface Temperature Radiometer. RAL Space were involved with the early design phase, and we came up with the design concept that was taken on by industry. That is now the operational instrument. And we started work on SLSTR in 2006, in fact a bit before that because there were previous studies, but we started work in earnest around 2006. To build an instrument and to calibrate an instrument, it's not something you can do in 5 minutes. You can't just rock up to a facility and say, please calibrate my instrument. A lot of work goes into it. The expertise that we've developed here at RAL it's taken over 40 years of developing. We need vacuum chambers, we need calibration sources. So we need a whole range of people. So a lot of people are involved in this project. And I would say at RAL we have all of these expertise in-house. So we have the facilities, we have the experts, we have the sources, we have the capability to bring all of this together. But also as a department, we have a duty of care, as it were, to the community. So we want to make sure that these instruments, there's a consistent record, and we want to make sure that the data quality from these instruments are the highest that it can be to support the UK science community who are using the data. So it's not just us building some kit and doing some stuff in TVAC, it's the end user that we're thinking about. The people that are using the data, the Met Office, ultimately the general public who care about getting reliable weather forecasts. So it affects us all. And as a national lab, you know, we can provide those facilities. And I believe that it's kind of unique in the UK. I mean, there are labs that can do some calibration. We have companies that can build satellites, but we can bring the whole lot together. So we've now completed the calibration of the 4th instrument, which will go on Sentinel-3D. That will be launched around 2028, 2029. So this is, for us, it's the end of a whole program. So 20 years we've been working on this. But it's not the end, because there will be a next generation Sentinel-3, and we're also looking at the next generation of those instruments. When I first got involved 35 years ago, all of this stuff was pioneering. You know, nobody had built any of these instruments before. We had to design the subsystems from scratch. The technology didn't exist. So it was really pioneering and groundbreaking, and I feel like I'm sitting on the shoulders of giants, really. You know, people who came up with the concept and came up with the idea for these instruments and built the first ones, And now we've got an operational system, and now we're getting to a different era of space compared to when I started. So it's quite a privilege to see the change and the transformation from being something pioneering to almost being something routine and operational. Yeah.